Mastery ranks, a rank earned over time by gathering affinity which unlocks different things at certain levels. So why are they bullshit, you ask? Allow me to explain. Greetings, Tenno, Lowlands here, bringing you another video from the depths of an Orokin derelict. Anyways, I thought about what some of the ideas for my first video should be, ran them by my friends in Discord, and this is what was chosen. Before I truly begin, I have to stress that this is a personal opinion, so if you see something differently than me, power to you. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's begin talking about today's topic. I'm a mastery rank 14 at the time of this video, and I've been playing for a while now on almost a daily basis. And if there's one thing I can say about this game, it's that the mastery rank of a player can be deceiving. You see, affinity is gathered through killing enemies, hacking consoles, reviving allies, using abilities, and many other things. However, you usually cannot reach the next mastery rank from doing these things alone. While leveling weapons help, impatient Tenno often strive to go as fast as possible to the next rank. So they look for shortcuts. And these shortcuts were revealed in the form of Akkad on Eris, Saint Blur on Lua, and Hyrishan on Pluto. There is no problem with this, as I myself use Akkad on a frequent basis to do just that. However, my problem is not the mastery rank itself, it's the player's demeanor when they raise in mastery rank. Allow me to elaborate. A common practice in multiplayer games nowadays is to have a sort of leveling system that has no loss of experience, only experience gained. And before I continue, I know Warframe has affinity costs when you revive in a mission. That isn't what I mean. I mean that these games often have exploitable missions like the ones stated prior that provide easy XP. And while that itself isn't an issue, the higher rank can sometimes make people a bit arrogant towards those lower in rank than them. The following will be such an example. I found this discussion on the Warframe wiki, and I felt it would give a better example of what I mean. I will link the discussion in the description so you can read it in its entirety in your own time.
You're either a noob or a veteran on the wiki. You're either talking to a founder, or just a Mr. 22 that knows all the tips and tricks, or some 12-year-old kid that claims Rhino is the worst frame because he doesn't scale.
Wow. Reading through your 7 posts so far on this wiki, you're coming across as a little full of yourself. You're a founder, thanks for investing, we love the game. You've been playing for 3 years and 2 months, okay, great. Calling everyone else here a noob, that isn't MR22? Now you're just being arrogant and ignorant. There are plenty of guys on here that I don't consider noobs. And I know they aren't MR22 or founders, because I've run with some of them. There are guys on here that I still learn from, that are not MR22 or founders. So, how about you hang out for a while before you start insulting players?
Not everyone is 12 or 13 years old that have low mastery ranks. Some of those player who at that age could be Mr. 20, and don't assume some player are new because that is disrespectful toward this wiki, people and the game. I don't care who is the founder.
Lol, calling me arrogant, while you're the one too arrogant to even read a title properly. I'm talking about the wiki, not the game itself. I don't care to who I'm talking. It's just that the gap between pro and noob is very large on the wiki, or at least, that's what I thought.
When you originally posted this thread, it was only your 7th post here. Yes, as you noticed, it is a fairly tight community. That is why I suggested hanging out first. This particular area differs, that is true. Most of us are on the mobile app, which until recently only had one category. The rest of the wiki may have a different player base, and may indeed reflect your initial thought. Because of these things, your post was not taken kindly here. You may be a founder, You may be MR22 and playing for 3 years and 2 months, but you are new to this form. You don't know the players here yet. You, as well as anyone else, are welcome to post what you want. This community tries to help each other, no matter the Mr. or time played. Even though asking easily found questions does get some salt, they are still answered. Even at MR22, and over a year and a half in, I still learn from the other players here. When one of needs help, we give advice and direction. We even go as far as to track each other down in game and play. You are more than welcome to continue in this form, that's not our decision to make. But don't continue to insult players that are enjoying the game.
Other topics that have similar controversial topics also get a ton of salt. This one however is not deserved. You were the first to not understand the topic, and apparently people would rather read a 4-paragraph post than my 1-paragraph post. I never said noobs are bad or anything. Let's take an example. If there's 2 football players playing together, and one's a professor that earns $5 million a month, and the other is a 11-year-old kid that has been playing football for 2 days, and I would say something like, "Wow, that's quite the gap." Do you think they'd be as butthurt as you are? I doubt it. Other topics that have similar controversial topics also get a ton of salt. This one however is not deserved. You were the first to not understand the topic, and apparently people would rather read a 4-paragraph post than my 1-paragraph post. I never said noobs are bad or anything. Let's take an example. If there's 2 football players playing together, and one's a professor that earns $5 million a month, and the other is a 11-year-old kid that has been playing football for 2 days, and I would say something like, "Wow, that's quite the gap." Do you think they'd be as butthurt as you are? I doubt it.
I'd say it was either in the tone or the wording. Your post reads as there is no middle ground, which is usually much broader and covers most of the players here. Your last comment also gives the context of the statement. Your first comment does not. By posting it that way, you left it open for interpretation. My interpretation, not based solely on the post, but your previous post on other threads, as I stated. There was no misunderstanding of the post. There was no context to base it on. You came across in a certain way. Obviously, I wasn't the only one to think that.
I'm stating this before I say anything else. I'm not gonna take sides. With that out of the way, this is what I feel happened: misinterpretation of the original post, seeing it towards the community as a whole rather than the wiki, and due to that a bunch of people responded defensively because they enjoy the game, which caused them to take it personal. I ain't down talking you for doing so. I can also understand why Prime got an attitude with the replies. What he initially intended was misinterpreted, which caused all this mess. I'm currently 18. And I am Mr. 14 on the PC. During my experience since joining at the start of Round 2, most of the community is willing to guide you to success in this game. However, so do it differently than others, and I know I feel that Prime has a low tolerance of questions that can easily be answered by a quick Google search. While I am not defending him or the replies he has received, I want to state that many a situation is like a coin, with 2 sides to every story. I wish you all the best of luck and enjoyment in this game, and I hope everyone can start to simmer down. 2 sides to every story. While that may have been directed towards the wiki, people took it personally. I do not think Prime is a bad person, as this is the internet, a place where your opinion can be shared to the world. However, the point that no longer brings up makes a lot of sense, as Prime was also an arrogant cunt for the first part of the posts. As I said, I can respect that, but he should have realized people who have a lower mastery rank than himself often need someone to help guide them to the eventual mastery rank 22. In short, the community needs to take more initiative to teach new players, otherwise you end up with TF2.